What is up, Exiles? Exile Phoenix here with the content update 0.2 for Path of Exile 2. Dawn of the Hunt. Well, this marks the day that 0.1 and Path of Exile 2, as we know of, as we have heard of, as we have played of, completely being obliterated to nothing. The game is new. This is like us playing Path of Exile 3 right now because everything has been changed. Um, Everything that we used to play before, we cannot do it the same way, and um, it's great. I mean, we get to play a new game, um, find out new things, and some of the things that I've noticed, some things that are important for us in 0.2, I have noted down, and we'll be going through it one by one, and some suggestions maybe later on when we get to start playing on Saturday or the Friday for some of you. So, these are things to note for minions and in general, but mostly minions because I tend to create guides for minions. So let's go ahead into player and monster based um, characteristics that has changed. I'll go with the cons for player based and monster based, right? So characters are now required to be at least level 25 to enter cruel difficulty and level 50 to enter endgame. Now this is it won't be valid for most of us, but if you're planning to speedrun it, skip most of the stuff, then cruel difficulty is from Act 4 onwards, so you won't be able to enter Act 4 if you are not level 25 or more, and you won't be able to get into endgame area, that is after Act 6, if you are below level 50. Freeze now builds up roughly 48% slower. Electrocute now builds up roughly 44% slower. Pin now builds up roughly 58% slower. Once again, it's a nerf. It's a huge nerf. It's not great. For freezing builds, it's not going to be good. Electrocute or pin, even pin is physical damage, and pin wasn't good before. It's not going to be good now. It's just worse right now. Pin was good for mobs that move around a lot, but not for bosses that sit in one place. But yeah, it is what it is. What it is. Let's go ahead. Stagger that players suffer when blocking too much damage with a shield raise is now a heavy stun. So when you keep your shield raised up and there's a stagger bar building up when you get hit, and at the end of it, it is now a heavy stun. Now, players are still unable to be heavy stunned unless a mechanic specifically states otherwise, right? So most of the stuns will be light stuns. When you get hit, when you get stunned by mobs, it will be a light stun. But if it specifically says that it's a heavy stun, then you will be heavy stunned. Now, your heavy stun bar now doesn't start emptying until the heavy stun animation has finished. So there is an animation which we will be in when we are heavy stunned. Heavy stun duration on players is now 3 seconds. Awesome. Players cannot block or evade hits while they are heavy stunned. That's great. Now, evasion is completely gutted in this case. So, considering the special cases, and when you are staggered on your race shield, you get heavy stun, right? So you will be sitting there for 3 seconds without being able to move, without being able to do anything, and you cannot block or evade hits. Now that's great. Awesome. To add to that, there is player base ailment threshold is now half of maximum life. This is really bad because the ailment threshold increases with maximum life before. Now it's half life. Now if you have if you had about 50% ailment threshold, you would have 25% of ailment threshold right now, and which is really bad. Now ailment threshold is what stops you from being frozen, ignited, shocked, bled, etc. Right? So this ailment threshold is now half. So you will have to build up your defenses even more to do something worthwhile in the game round. Presence radius is now 4 meters, previously 6 meters. Presence radius is particularly good for minion builds, because whatever presence that we have, all of the scepter damage, for example, the implicit that says presence, allies in your presence deal this amount of damage, all of that is halved. Well, not halved, the radius is reduced. This means that if they go out of your range, they do not get these buffs, and it's not great. All right, pros of player and monster based patch notes. Players can no longer be light stunned while their shield is raised. Yeah. Magic enemies are now primed for stun when they have at least 50% heavy stun, 60% for rares, 70% at uniques. So there is a decrease there, which is pretty good based on the electric now builds up roughly 44% slower or 48% slower. So this is bad, and this is a little bit better. It makes things overall bad. Fully broken armor now causes enemies to take 20% increased physical damage from hits. This is good for armor breaking builds or physical builds. It's pretty good. Alright, ascendancy wise, ascendancy nodes actually for Warbringer, it was pretty meh. Just a few changes here and there. Nothing much to say, talk about. Gemling also got nerfed with attributes because it was kind of broken and everybody ran it. Witch Hunter, uh, well, Witch Hunter was not great, but now it's looking pretty good because you do a lot more damage. And also there are lots of buffs to crossbows. Previously, on a side note, right? Previously, crossbow weapons had taken the damage numbers, as in the tier 1, tier 2 damage numbers, uh, as a one-handed weapon. So, for example, you would have something like 1 to 60 lightning damage and on a crossbow, and this would be based on a one-handed weapon. Now they are adding it as a two-handed weapon, so you would probably be expecting somewhere around, say, 10 to 80 damage um, in the case that I explained, right? So this is looking pretty good. So Infernalist is all horrible. While on Infernal Flame, your allies gains 50% of damage as fire damage. This is pretty good. You would be giving up your mana pool, so you cannot go into Mind Over Matter. It's alright, but then you would have to be on high Infernal Flame. When you're at high Infernal Flame, you get dealt more damage based on your life regen, etc. But it's alright, it's 50% extra damage, right? All damage from you and allies in your presence contribute to ignite and chance and magnitude. Yes, that was always there. And the Loyal Hellhound, well, it doesn't take 20% of damage from hits from its life. So we are getting hit 100% right now, and it's not great. Pathfinder is looking good, I think, because Pathfinder can get immunity to shock, ignite, or freeze, either one, right? And then the next node is 30% of evasion rating also grants elemental damage reduction. So if you increase evasion, you would be getting elemental damage reduction as well. So you evade and then you run away from projectiles and do your thing and you'll be safe. Stormweaver is completely dead. All mana nodes and Arcane Surge per mana has been nerfed, so don't play Stormweaver until they do something about it. General changes. Let's go. Um, damage and life is same as early game for minions, but it becomes lower at higher levels. Now, this was because people used to increase the gem level to over 32, and they had a buttload of damage, so they wanted to nerf this. Bleeding Concoction now has 200% more magnitude of bleed inflicted. This is a pretty good buff, but then again, they took off all Concoction builds will be unarmed right now. So it will not be great because you cannot scale damage based on your bow or whatever armed martial weapon that you had before. Um, Combat Frenzy now has gain frenzy charge when you freeze, electrocute, or pin no more than once every 5.3 to 4.1 seconds. This is pretty bad. Now, this is bad because everybody who uses power charges and frenzy charges to empower their attacks, it's not going to work right now. Because you do a lot less freeze, electrocute to enemies right now because of all the nerfs that I've previously discussed, and also the range, the seconds, right? So you don't gain any for 4 seconds. That is pretty. It's a huge amount of time. Um, it'll take some time until you gain those charges and you use it in 1 second or just one attack, and it doesn't make any sense. So Decompose from Corpse Spade, which was a very good build in 0.1. It doesn't do much damage anymore. It's less than half of the damage, or maybe just half. No, it's less than half, right? Yeah, it's 10 to 19.5 before it was 30 to 39.5. Yeah, it's really bad. Uh, Gas Arrow, Gas Grenades, and Decompose now have a limit of 6 Poison Clouds. So once again, Decompose is again nerfed here because you cannot stack those Poison Clouds. It's only going to be 6 Poison Clouds. So I'm guessing that even if you put Scattershot, when they overlap, um, Scattershot will provide 2 additional projectiles for Gas Arrow. When you put it forward, so you'll be shooting 3, and then when you shoot another, when you use your attack one more time, that will be 6 Poison Clouds, and it's not good at all. There will be no damage there. Uh, okay, Grim Feast is removed from the game. This kills all the energy shield builds out there, which used to rely on Grim Feast a lot to survive. People are going to have to find better ways to survive right now, and they will have to invest a lot more to survival than to damage, as 0.1 was. Like I said, it's a completely different game right now, and we will have to learn and go ahead with it. Poisonous Concoction now has 200% more magnitude of poison, but it deals physical damage. The poison damage is based on the hit of physical damage or chaos damage, right? So this could be a nerf if you are stacking chaos damage, because poison, based on poisonous concoction, the poison will not get increase, well, a much more magnitude of poison on it. So I think if we stack physical damage, that will be really, really good for this. Also, on a side note, poisonous concoction and all concoctions use more charges from mana flasks right now. So you cannot build this as a one button build anymore. I don't think you can build anything as a one button build right now, but of course there'll be people who will find a loophole and then go through it. But yeah, right now, as of now, with the patch notes in today, I'm pretty sure that it's not possible right now. So Raging Spirits, I think without just putting the nerf in there for Raging Spirits, right? So the nerf is basically you used to get 5 Raging Spirits on one cast. Now you get 2. And also, if you cast a lot and try to get a lot of Raging Spirits in like in a short period of time, the game automatically defines how many raging spirits can be there at a given time, which means that the game controls how many raging spirits will be there, even though you're casting like crazy. So I don't know, maybe just take off raging spirit as well as they took off grim feast, because it makes no sense right now. So yeah, spiral volley now has 30% more damage per french charge consumed. Now this is great. I have done a spiral volley, which will be in the description below of this video, on 0.1 with a monk, and it was great. It was good for clear. It was the best at clear. It had good single target damage as well with snipe. But the problem here is that it does more damage, but the frenzy's charge generation is going to be a problem because of combat frenzy nerf and the freeze and electrocute build-up nerfs. We'll see how it goes. There's no way to test this right now until the patch comes in on Friday for most of you and Saturday for me, for the people around me. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll probably post an update to it. Tempest Bell is completely dead. Um, right now, you have to, well, before the patch comes, it's 4 hits and you can put in Tempest Shield. But when the patch comes in, you have to do 10 hits, and the Tempest Bell comes up, and then after you do 10 hits on the enemy or on the bell, right, it gets destroyed automatically, which is it's horrible. The on-kill effects of Herald skills can no longer trigger from kills caused by Herald skills. So this causes the chain effect that we had before to be less while clearing, but I don't think that'll be a big problem. It's just only for Herald of Ice. The explosion, when you shatter an enemy, the explosion itself will deal damage around to the enemies around it, and then it will keep on triggering as this way, right? So this cannot happen right now. So whoever you hit, they will trigger the Herald of Ice skill. But whatever hits, if something from Herald of Ice to shatter kills something else, it cannot trigger off from there. That's what it means basically. So it's pretty bad. Wind downs are now grants 10% more evasion rating per stage. Before it was 15 to 19. Again, very bad for evasion builds. Everlasting Gaze Unique Amulet now causes you to gain 4 to 6% of maximum mana as extra maximum energy shield, and previously it was 20 to 30. Great. Yeah, super. Why is it still here? Well, good question, and I have asked that question myself, and I don't have an answer to it. Eye of Chayula Unique Amulet no longer provides plus 2500 stun threshold. It provides cannot be light stun. So I previously mentioned what light stun is. That's pretty good. Eye of Chayula also grants other things along with it. So I think it'll be pretty good. Hand of Wisdom is nerfed by 50%. Before it was 1 to 10 lightning damage per 10 intelligence, and 1% increase attack speed per, 3% attack speed per 25 dexterity was before. So it has been nerfed now. Well, let's move on to Ingenuity. This item has been completely butchered, and this is all because of the new ascendancy class in Hunters called the Ritualist. So they have made sure that Ingenuity only applies to the left and the right ring slot, and not the ring slot that has been provided by the Ritualist. And also, it has been nerfed to 20 to 30%, and they have also added some charm slots. You can go from +1 to 2 charm slots, and then -20 to 20 increase charm charges. and the -10 to +10 reduced charm charges. Now this will be a very good item if it's high rolled, because this works really well with Ritualist Ascendancy. Only if it is high rolled, right? Everything has to be plus. Because Ritualist has +1 to charm charges, and also charms when they are out of the charges, they use mana instead to activate the charm. So you could possibly have 100% uptime on the charms, and also some passive. The build tree has some skill points where you get more damage when you have charms active. This could be something that we can have a look at later, but I'm not sure if it'll work. Now, however you say this name, Mahoksotul or whatever, right? It's the unique shield which had 333 to 666 effect of Socketed Soul Core. It has become 100%. This is really bad. And it also has additional property as Everlasting Sacrifice. Now, Everlasting Sacrifice is basically when you reach 100% of your energy shield, when you get your maximum energy shield, it consumes all of your energy shield to give you +5 to maximum resistance to all. So it's basically +5 maximum resistances to all when you reach full energy shield. Energy shield is consumed. So as soon as you reach full energy shield, it becomes 0 energy shield, and then you get +5 maximum resistance. And the final one of this would be the Oaksworn Unique Shield no longer provides 50 to Spirit, and now provides 50% increased life regeneration. Now this is completely useless for minion builds, but there is another unique shield that they have introduced right now. Yes, this one, the Prism Guardian. So the Prism Guardian is basically 63% increase armor and energy shield, yeah, 27 to dexterity, elemental resistances, and +1 to maximum spirit per 50 life. This is looking pretty good with the Infernalist Ascendancy, as it already provides +1 to maximum spirit per 25 maximum life. So you can get a lot of spirit with this shield right now. I think it'll be a good way to avoid the nerf that Oaksworn got. So yeah, so what is exactly left for us to work with? Now Huntress has a lot of buffs. It is good because Huntress will be nerfed in the future, definitely. And there is also Lich from the Witch Ascendancy. Now, why Huntress is good is because of bleed, bleed, and all the buffs that it has, right? So let's go to PoE, go of the Hunt League, and look at the gems. There is Herald of Blood, right? So Herald of Blood is a new gem, and 15% of exploded enemies' blood loss is dealt as unscalable physical damage, and also aggravates bleeding on hit. So when you kill an enemy that is bleeding, it explodes and it deals damage around it based on the blood loss. Blood loss is basically the magnitude of bleed that you have inflicted on it and how fast it's losing its blood, right? So this acts as a pretty good clear. And then we have Hemocrystals. Hemocrystals is looking really good because it consumes bleed on an enemy, and these crystals are created. You can create 20 active crystals, and hemocrystals deal damage equal to 8% of the expected remaining damage of the consumed bleed. Now, this is basically something to deal damage immediately, instant, on instance, you deal the bleed damage in one explosion. It's looking pretty good, but I don't know how it will be. But it's looking pretty good. There are some other um, gems as well that we can have a look at later on. But for now, I think this will be a good way to start. Ziggy D has also provided uh, a video on spears, um, him running spears and hunters in the league that they have come up with before the update, right? Uh, I'll be putting that up in the patch notes as well, in the description below. And let's see how it will be. Uh, that's it for this video. I will be coming up with a minion build guide, definitely, maybe based on Lich, um, or even the Kitava animate weapon. Somehow I'll make the mini builds work and we'll see how it goes. Thank you for tuning in and see you in the new patch. Exile Phoenix out.